Hi, this is Shelley Kraft, and this is a Wall Street View. We're coming from the Singular Research Best of the Uncovered 9th Annual Conference here at the Lux Hotel in Bel Air, California. I have with me, I guess, the host, Robert Maltbie. Also, the hostess with the mostest. And he's with Millennium Asset Management. That's what we're going to talk about, which is a private fund. Welcome to SNN.
Thanks for having me, Shelley. Great to be here.
It's good to have you. Now, Robert, let's talk about Millennium. Let's get right into it. Tell me, what are you doing?
We have our defenses up right now, but strategically, what we do at Millennium, Shelley, we invest in small and micro caps long, and we're a hedge fund, and we short mid to large caps. We leverage a lot of the singular research for our fund, and we are long-term investors looking for the superior growth characteristics of companies that lack coverage as well. They're mispriced, misunderstood. So that's what we do, and we want to go long what we call the lack of coverage anomaly. Companies that lack coverage trade at a 20-25% discount to those that do. We want to short those overhyped, over-researched, over-covered stocks. It's exactly the inverse of what we do on the long side.
You know, you're causing me to go through my memory bank, and you know, I used to have a theory that for every company that's undiscovered, there's 10 companies that everybody's buying because they're familiar with the symbols. And you know, if you are a small company, even putting out a press release, you're completely buried by Ford just in one day's worth of news coming out of you know, we're on the same page with that.
Sure, yeah. Well, you know, we feel that we're early in what we call discovery research. Companies that are off the beaten path, they're forgotten, misunderstood, forlorn. Like I felt like I was at certain times in my career on Wall Street, and that's exactly what the advantage is. And you talk about symbols being recognized and not recognized. I have a funny little story on one of the major networks, CNBC. We could say that they were doing one of their shows with Kramer, and he was talking about one of his picks, and he got the symbol wrong. And he used the symbol of a company we followed, and my God, that stock went up, I swear, 20%, really, in about 2 days, and we took some profits. That was actually a information arbitrage, let's call it. So
and then I remember that story, which I know is true, and he had to correct it 2 days later, right?
Exactly, and the stock came down pretty sharply. Back to earth, yeah.
Unbelievable. So the other thing that in part is something that I believe also to be true, I nickname it and I coin it stockflation. What I mean by that is there's too much money chasing too few stocks. And the fact of the matter is that if you bring better companies along that are undiscovered, uncovered, undercovered, you stand to attract a lot of investor interest, especially if you're providing quality research.
Well, indeed. That's what we look to exploit. Companies that are underfollowed, undiscovered, before they get discovered, before Wall Street research picks them up. And hopefully we've done our homework right, and they're executing. Management's strong. The company is well positioned to benefit and execute over the long term. And many of those companies that we have owned in the fund historically actually are here today, like Orchid Paper. We bought that at 11. It's a $25 stock. This is over several years. It's not all overnight.
Didn't happen yesterday.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when you're in a market now that Alibaba is now a publicly traded stock, you want to tell me a little bit about what your thoughts might have been on that?
Alibaba. Wow. We looked at that, and it's not in our space. So it was just academic. But if there was a classic Warren Buffett stock, this was it. Dominate the market, near monopoly, priced at half its growth rate. and no one owns it yet. And for years, there's literally a wall around their business in China. I mean, try going into China and competing.
Good luck.
Yeah. So that to us, we saw that they were managing that offering rather well. They weren't increasing the share price much or the share count. It's already a huge amount anyways. And oh my God, it looked like a real winner. And based on the numbers and based on the earnings growth and the monopoly, we thought it could go far higher. And it reached our target in one day, $92. I think that's where it is now, actually.
I have a better question for you. How does that particular IPO success story, how does that affect the companies that are in the micro-cap, small-cap sectors that may or may not directly benefit, but they could have some side benefit to that particular rise in Alibaba stock?
Yeah, Shelley, that's a great question. So I believe the positive impact from Alibaba on small caps is other high-quality Chinese-based companies that look very interesting, that are cheap and underfollowed as well with a lack of research. And so we're looking at that now. We think that will shine a light on the fact that China is legit this time, and the accounting is much better, and institutions will have more of an appetite.
So they've done some work in China, because there's no way Alibaba would get this far without checking out, right?
Oh, exactly. I mean, you had this is a huge payday for the big investment banks, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and they don't want to have egg on their face from an offering. I mean, they really kind of muffed the Facebook offering. So they really want this to go smoothly, and it did. And if you look at the prospectus, actually, it was very transparent. It was very easy to read, not a lot of footnotes. It was all the numbers were bang, bang, bang. Very clear.
So now, as an expert in the business, tell me a little bit about Millennium's look towards 2015, throw in a little Singular Research 2015. In general, what do you think?
Well, over the long term, that's how we really invest, Shelley, is we're always finding companies that are misunderstood for whatever reason. Maybe they've had a problem and they fixed it. That's usually a big reason. And we try to get there early. The analysts have deserted it, and it's starting to work. Over the near term, I always say to investors, look, all the stuff on CNBC, you go on there on any certain day or get 5 different opinions, 7 different stocks, and it's a real head scratcher. I don't know what kind of, it's entertainment. It's more like entertainment. I don't know, it's serious.
Infotainment.
Infotainment, right. But if you're asking me about our perspective very near term, I would be careful. I'd be careful. This market's come up a long way. It looks like interest rates finally might rise a little bit, and the economy's finally, here's the confusion, and it confuses me. The economy's getting better. Why are stocks going down? And what a lot of people may not be aware of, except for us in the small cap, micro cap space, it hasn't been that great of a year this year. The S&P's up 8, 9. We're not there. We're struggling. We had a great year last year. That's why you have to look at this as a multi 3 to 5 year commitment to be very, very successful.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Robert for having us at his wonderful conference. Very highbrow for a very highbrow event, I could tell. And I just, for our audience, where would you like to send investor interest? To which website?
Yeah, please come to our website. It's millennium-asset.biz, B-I-Z, and we've got research there. We've got reports on our strategy. So please come and do your homework first before you invest, always.
And Singular is linked to Millennium?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so let's get the Singular also.
Singularresearch.com. That's with an S. Singularresearch.com, and there we have a lot of the companies that are here today and that we cover that we feel are misunderstood, forgotten, and forlorn, and worth looking at.
And he was once all those.
All those.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Maltbie, Millennium Asset Management. It's a private fund. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is a Wall Street View. We're coming to you live from the Singular Research Best of the Uncovered 9th Annual Conference right here at the Lux Hotel in Bel Air, California. Robert, thanks again for coming.
Thank you, Shelley. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
All right.